Is it recording? Yes, there we go. Okay. Lonnie Wright.
Pulling up my agenda here. Were there any public comments
No,
or write-ins?
no, sir.
Well, we've got one big item. I just glanced at the agenda earlier today. Do we want to just kick off with that, or Troy, do you have anything that you want to start with?
Sure. So the way the timing works out, we had a golf advisory meeting, and then we had a park board meeting. And at that park board meeting, we shared that there was we're going to be bringing back an increase in the golf cart fees as well as the pass fees. So that's going to be on the agenda for the park board on the 13th. So that's a little over a week away. So just wanted to make sure everybody was still remembering the same thing and everybody understood that. So I'll be doing that presentation. And so I'm excited to start that conversation at the park board level, and then eventually that will go to council as well. So that's really good. A couple other things. The big part that we want to talk a little bit about today was staffing, and we have made an offer to the top candidate, and he has accepted. And his name is Jesse, and I'm not going to count my chickens until he's actually here. So we've had situations where people have backed out very last second, but I don't think that's going to happen here. I feel pretty confident. But Nancy, you sat on the interviews. If you would like to share your perspective, and I think all the candidates were great, but Jesse was top. Go ahead, Nancy.
I absolutely agree. He is very professional, super experienced in a similar setup to what we have. He's from Fairfax, Virginia, and cost of living there is prohibitive. You know, he's looking forward to getting back this way and a little closer to family. I really had my fingers crossed, afraid that we wouldn't be good enough for him. So I'm really excited that he can be here. He's got lots of great ideas, good energy. One of his comments at the interview was, whoever takes this job could look like a superstar very quickly. Just because he's identified so many things that can be done that really won't even cost a lot of money to start off with. He's identified, you know, of course, course conditions and a couple of clubhouses that need attention, and working with pros and the staff. I think he'll be a good person to cooperatively listen to the staff. I'm real excited. Good things are happening. Oh, and another thing he said, he wants to prove that not going with a management company was the right decision. So he's very motivated.
Yes, so it was a really interesting process. We actually had 2 rounds of interviews. We had the finalists come in. It was last week. On Friday, they came in. There was 3 finalists. They all did a great job. I think all 3 of them could do the job, but Jesse was definitely head and shoulders above the other ones in regards to experience. And he was definitely motivated to take us up to the next level. I'm excited because I'm ready to make sure that the staff gets the attention that they need. It's been fun. I've enjoyed getting to know the golf pros more and the superintendents more, but having somebody lead them is going to be really important, and I think that's really going to help the Golf Enterprise Fund a lot as well. It's going to cost us a little bit more money, but I think we're going to see better customer service and better opportunities for all the golf courses. So that's going to be great. We're anticipating the start date. I think it's the 27th of June. So just before the 4th of July holiday. And so we're doing that. And we also have Darius that we've hired. I think he's in the picture there, just outside the picture. If you could tilt your head in a little bit, Darius, we could say hello to you.
See ya.
I'll see a hand. There you are. All right. Yep.
You're in.
I know, you're in the frame. We see you.
I got you, Darius. I see him.
All right. Again, it just depends on how your screen is set up. But I could not
Funny.
see him. But anyways, so he is taking over Rowan's position. A lot of different administrative duties, financial duties, and he seems to be learning pretty quickly. So he's another really, really important factor. And especially as Apple Hans is going to be transitioning out of golf, she's been doing a great job helping me with this transition. But her actual job is not in golf anymore. Her actual job is actually supporting the Parks and Recreation Department in marketing and communications. So as we start to fill in these other positions, it's working out really well. We did do interviews for an assistant superintendent as well as a superintendent position, and we made offers, and those offers didn't go anywhere. So we're back to the drawing board, and I think we just closed some positions, and both of those positions have applicants in there, and so we're going to start over again with those interviews with those applicants. And I got a pretty good feeling that we have a couple that will fill those positions. So I'm excited about that as well. And then the last position that we need to fill that's currently on our roster of items is the food and beverage manager. So that one we will actually have some applicants, and hopefully they'll be patient enough because I was given the direction that we have to wait until Jesse gets here to fill that position. And so the first thing that Jesse's going to do on that Monday is sit down in some interviews, because we'll bring those candidates in right away so he can actually start finding that last person on his team. And then we'll be really close to being 100% full with the allotted positions that we have. Once that happens, I really want to take a really close look at our budget and see where we're at as far as trending and what the impact is going to be with the increases of the passes, see what kind of capacity we have if we can or need to bring on some additional staff. So don't want to do that until we have a little better understanding of where we stand with all the positions being filled, because I think we're actually filling them at probably a higher pay rate than what we were doing 2 or 3 years ago. So really need to kind of look at those finances. So those are great things that are happening. I think the numbers are going really well. It's too soon for us to do the May closeout, but as of last month, we were still trending higher than the year before in regards to rounds and revenue. And we did pay some big ticket items already at the beginning of the season. So these were all major irrigation expenses for the pumps and for the electrical for all the pumps, and just really making sure that we had the infrastructure in place for watering the grass, because I always say without grass we don't have golf, and so that's one of our biggest priorities, to make sure that we take care of that. So that's pretty much all I really had lined up to talk about today, unless there's any other questions. Mr. Ward always has questions. I can see it. He's going to come up with one.
I'm all questioned out, Troy. But no, I am excited to hear I can sense your guys' excitement in this new hire. So I didn't go to, I think there was an open meet and greet at some point. I would have liked to make it, didn't align with the schedule, but if you guys are excited, I think that's a good thing. I'm glad we went with the best option in the country. It sounds like, and we didn't limit ourselves, and I'll look forward to seeing what Jesse can do.
All right, anything else? Get a pros update. See Scott's on and Ron Reese. So let's start with the soup. Ron, you want to lead us off here?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, gonna have a lot going on at Mac. Don Linger's supposed to start being on site Monday. They'll be starting to stage and do some stuff. First part of the project they're going to do is the irrigation lake on number 9. Rebuild the dam and overflow structure so it will hold water and the dam won't be leaking. So that'll be a good thing. Then the other, if you aren't sure you're familiar, I've already heard, but I'll refresh. Other parts of the project will be basically every lake, the dam and overflow structure will be rebuilt because they're all leaking. They don't hold water, don't retain water that we can use for irrigation. Also, the bridge on 17 will be a new bridge put in. The bridge on number 12 that's been down for a couple of years, the weir wall will be fixed and updated, and the bridge repaired, and also a new bridge on hole number 6. So looking forward to all that stuff getting done. It'll sure help with water, and it'll definitely help with the aesthetics of those ponds holding water like they should. Been battling overgrown banks of ponds and stuff, so that'll be nice. Downside is coming right into the prime golfing time of the year when the work's going on, so it's gonna have some type of an effect on our revenue. I hope not too much. We're gonna try to have the work concentrated so they're doing just one of the spots at one time. So we're got signs made. We'll just, during construction, we'll have to maybe play a hole from temporary tees. So instead of, for instance, 18, they won't be able to tee off from the regular tees as a par 4. We'll move all the tee markers up, and it'll play as a par 3 during the day. They said they will normally be out of there by 3:30 or 4. So at that time we can, move the tee markers back so it won't affect evening leagues and we're busy a lot of the evenings. So that'll be a good thing. Other than that, our seasonal staffing is doing pretty good. Got a couple more applicants trying to get pushed through. So once that's done, we should be in better shape and be able to just keep up with the day-to-day stuff and be doing some extras.
Cool. Any questions for Ron? All right. Thanks, Ron.
Oh, one other comment I want to make. I did go to the meet and greet and spoke with all 3 of them. And I remember one thing I remember Jesse saying. He says, I want superintendents to be asking me for things. He says, because if you're not asking me for things, then I'm concerned. I said, well, don't worry. I got plenty to ask. So I'll be giving him some things that we'd like to do on the course, and hopefully we're in a position now where we can do funding to do the things.
Good deal. All right, Scott.
Okay. Things are steady as usual. Last 10 days, 11 days, we've had somewhere between 9 and 10 inches of rain, which has kind of put a little damper on us. Lost an event yesterday with 144 players that was in town for a conference. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to reschedule the Heroes for Heroes that was supposed to be for tomorrow, but with the flooding and the front 9 still closed as of now, we're going to find a date in the fall for them to make up their event. This is cancellation that they're aware of. Next week, we have 3 events, starting with junior golf on Tuesday with 124 plus junior campers starting on Tuesday morning. Business meetings, we got some Jostens meetings being hosted out here. And then Friday, Saturday of next week, we have the Kansas Chamber and PEC Engineering, followed by the Monday with the Corn Ferry Qualifier. So things are staying pretty active. If you haven't been out to the golf course, Ron and his staff have done a fantastic job, despite the fact that it's been flooded for about 4 days, but it is absolutely gorgeous out there, and hats off to him, because it has been a challenge with the wet conditions that we've been facing for the last 2 weeks. So beside that, we're still trying to find a few more seasonals to fill in some of the holes that we've had. But for the most part, everything's going pretty good, staying extremely busy.
Good. Hopefully it'll kind of cool off on the rain. We had a pretty wet May there, so hopefully we can get some sunshine, get some golfers out to the course, and get that grass growing green. I don't see anybody else on. Lonnie joined us today. Lonnie, if you want to say anything, I'll give you the floor. Maybe not. That's all I have, guys. I don't have an update or anything. Troy, do you have anything to kind of finish us off?
And I didn't have a comment. I just couldn't figure out how to find my speaker. Thank you for asking.
Of course. Anytime, Lonnie.
I really don't have anything to add other than I'm just really excited that, God, almost 2 years ago, well, actually 18 months ago when Mr. Hendricks left, but even before that, 2 years ago when we were talking about using a management company, and we're going on 2 separate roads. One, in case we go down using a management company, and the other one actually staying in-house. And the past few months since we've made the decision with council, pretty exciting knowing that we are getting full staff and getting all that's needed in place. So I just see things moving forward in a positive direction. I see lots of low-hanging fruit being able to be addressed, and then we still need to come up with some long-term plans. We still need to address not just hundreds of thousands, but tens of millions of dollars worth of infrastructure upgrades. And but we need to come up with a long-range plan, and it's doable. We just need to make a plan. So it's something that we'll be working on in next year.
Cool. Anything else, guys? Not, let's keep pushing forward and have a great summer. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Have a good day.